The dog was abused by his owner. 2 years later, he did something unbelievable. Subscribe to my channel and like a video. Let's start the video. The rain fell in heavy sheets as Max, a scrawny golden retriever, cowered under the porch of a rundown house. His ribs pressed against his matted fur, and his once bright eyes were dull with fear. Inside, the sound of breaking glass and angry shouts echoed. His owner, Jake, was in one of his moods again. Max flinched as the door slammed open. Jake staggered out, beer bottle in hand, his face twisted in rage. "Stupid mutt," he slurred, kicking Max hard in the ribs. The dog yelped, scrambling away, but Jake grabbed his collar and dragged him into the yard. "You're worthless, just like everything else in my life." Max didn't understand the words, but he knew the pain. He had known it for years. That night, as Jake passed out drunk, Max lay shivering in the cold, his body aching. He whimpered softly, wondering if this was all life had for him. But fate had other plans. A second chance. The next morning, a neighbor, Sarah, finally called animal control. She had seen enough. When the officers arrived, they found Max barely conscious, his body covered in scars. Jake was arrested, and Max was taken to a shelter. For weeks, Max was terrified of humans. He flinched at every touch, expecting pain. But then, a kind woman named Emily walked into the shelter. She wasn't looking for a dog. She had just lost her own golden retriever to old age. But when she saw Max's broken spirit, something inside her cracked. "I'll take him," she said softly. The shelter staff warned her. "He's been through a lot. He might never trust again." Emily only smiled. "He just needs love." Learning to love. Again. The first few months were hard. Max hid under the bed, refusing to eat unless Emily sat on the floor beside him. He had nightmares, whimpering in his sleep. But Emily never lost patience. She spoke to him in gentle tones, never raising her voice. She let him come to her on his own terms. Slowly, ever so slowly, Max began to trust. One evening, as Emily sat reading, Max crept forward and rested his head on her lap. Tears filled her eyes as she stroked his fur. "You're safe now, boy," she whispered. From that moment, something shifted in Max. His tail, which had always been tucked between his legs, began to wag. He followed Emily everywhere, his loyalty unshakable. The unthinkable happens. 2 years passed. Max was no longer the broken dog he once was. He was strong, happy, and fiercely protective of Emily. Then one night, everything changed. Emily had gone to bed early, exhausted from work. Max lay at the foot of her bed, as he always did. But something felt wrong. A noise downstairs, a creak, the faintest shuffle of footsteps. Max's ears perked up, his body tensed. Then, the unmistakable sound of a window being forced open. Max leapt from the bed, a low growl rumbling in his chest. He bolted downstairs just as a masked figure stepped into the living room. The intruder froze when he saw Max. "Get out of the way, mutt," he hissed, waving a knife. But Max didn't back down. His muscles coiled, his teeth bared. The man lunged. Max was faster. With a snarl, he launched himself at the intruder, clamping his jaws around the man's arm. The knife clattered to the floor as the thief screamed, trying to shake Max off. But Max held on, his grip iron. Upstairs, Emily jolted awake at the noise. She grabbed her phone, dialing 911 as she rushed downstairs. When she flicked on the lights, she gasped. Max stood over the intruder, pinning him down, his teeth still locked on the man's sleeve. Blood dripped from the thief's arm, but Max hadn't torn into flesh. He had only held him there, waiting. Police arrived minutes later. As they hauled the burglar away, one officer shook his head in amazement. "That dog just saved your life, ma'am." Emily dropped to her knees, wrapping her arms around Max. He finally released his grip, panting heavily, his body trembling, not from fear, but from adrenaline. Tears streamed down Emily's face as she buried her face in his fur. "You brave, brave boy," she sobbed. The hero dog. The news spread fast. Abused dog saves owner from armed intruder made headlines. Reporters wanted interviews. Animal rights groups praised Max's courage. But Max didn't care about fame. He only cared about Emily. That night, as they curled up together on the couch, Emily stroked his head. "You know, Max," she whispered, "after everything you've been through, you still had so much love to give. And tonight, you gave me the greatest gift of all." Max licked her hand, his tail thumping softly. He had been broken once, but love had put him back together. And in return, he had done the unbelievable. He had become a hero. Like a video and subscribe to my channel, please. Thanks for watching.